there is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was part of the financial reform that came about following the 2008 economic collapse. And the CFPB has a director. And the director was supposed to be independent of the president. The CFPB is supposed to be autonomous in order to carry out justice and protect consumers who have been wronged by banks and corporations. And unfortunately, based on how the Supreme Court has just ruled on that matter, the president will be able to fire the director of the CFPB at will. So the court said in a 4-5 decision, which hands a victory to Republicans, that the firing protections are an unconstitutional restraint on the president's ability to oversee executive branch agencies. So Chief Justice John Roberts wrote that such an agency lacks a foundation in historical practice and clashes with constitutional structure by concentrating power in a unilateral actor insulated from presidential control. The agency may therefore continue to operate, but its director, in light of our decision, must be removable by the president at will. So just to be clear, prior to this ruling, in order for the president to fire the director of the CFPB, there needed to be proof of inefficiency, neglect of duty, or malfeasance. And now that is not the case. That person could be fired at will.
So this is a mixed decision. Let me explain it as quickly as I can. First, in terms of John Roberts' rationale, I don't think it makes any sense. So he says, well, this position is part of the executive branch, and so the president should be able to pick the person he wants to lead it. Okay, well, there's some logic in that. But the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Federal Trade Commission have people that the president can't fire either. So how do you explain that? Well, he says they have multiple commissioners and not just a single commissioner, and that's the difference. I don't really see the difference there. Okay, but it's mixed news in that, look, Trump could be out of office in 6 months. And I like the idea of a new president being able to put in a new person at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So on the other hand, the reason why the Democrats wanted to protect this and progressives wanted to protect this is because you don't want it being able to be influenced by politicians who normally serve banks, including Democrats who serve banks. So, but the last part of how it's mixed is, yes, they say now the president can fire that person, but they did not kill the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which was on the table. They could have killed it and chose not to. And they could have even killed the whole Dodd-Frank financial reform bill, such as it was, and chose not to. So it's not as bad a decision as the headlines indicate.
So that perspective is a little bit of a mixed bag too, Cenk, because look, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau under the Trump administration has become toothless, really. It's been dismantled, especially with the leadership of, or lack of leadership, whatever you want to call it, of Mick Mulvaney, who for a brief period of time was the head of the CFPB and rolled back some of the, I guess some of the protections that the CFPB provides to Americans, including against these payday lenders who certainly do prey on American consumers. With that said, though, one part of Dodd-Frank that hasn't gotten any attention, I've wanted to talk about it, but we haven't had a chance yet, is the Volcker rule has been basically completely repealed, which allows these banks, that was part of Dodd-Frank, that was supposed to ensure that these big banks didn't take these, make these risky bets, and they had enough money set aside to basically bail themselves out if they engage in these risky bets, right? Now, they don't have to have that reserve account anymore. They don't have to have those funds anymore. And they can go back to basically doing these risky bets with depositors' money. And so all of those, like, by the way, the Dodd-Frank regulations were weak on their own. And now whatever weak regulations we got after 2008 have slowly but surely been rolled back.
And finally, the political ramifications. Now with the conservative Supreme Court ruling against the Trump administration on LGBTQ protections, against them on Dreamers, and now with John Roberts ruling against them on the issue of abortion, that's gonna really hurt Donald Trump, because his main case to conservative voters was, yeah, I might be out of control and I might make you uncomfortable, and it's obvious I'm an idiot, but I'm at least getting you conservative Supreme Court justices. And now, as these things hit right before the election, and it looks like they're not gonna win on any of those issues, even with a conservative Supreme Court, even with the justices that Trump put in, that takes away a big part of Donald Trump's electoral arsenal and puts him in even bigger trouble.
When you sign up for a spend and save account at aspiration.com/TYT, we will plant 10 trees. Let's save the planet together.